The Berg Lake Trail is a backcountry hiking route featuring some of the finest scenery in British Columbia. It is world-renowned for offering extraordinary multi-day hiking adventures to beginners and experienced backcountry hikers alike. Mount Robson Provincial Park is in the Canadian Rockies, entirely within British Columbia, right next to Jasper National Park in Alberta. Area, about 2,249 km superscript 2, established in 1913, making it the second oldest provincial park in BC. Part of the Canadian Rocky Mountain Park's UNESCO World Heritage Site. Originally, we had planned to hike the Berg Lake Trail in 4 days and 3 nights, but we decided to extend it to 5 days and 4 nights. My wife had just recovered from hip pain, and giving ourselves that extra day turned out to be one of the best choices we could have made. The slower pace not only made the trek more comfortable, but also gave us more time to truly enjoy the scenery, linger at viewpoints, and soak in the incredible atmosphere of Mount Robson's backcountry. Kinney Lake, lying at an elevation of 980 meters above sea level, is named for Canadian mountaineer George Kinney, a Methodist minister. Accompanied by Donald Curley Phillips, a Jasper outfitter, Kinney nearly reached the summit of Mount Robson in 1909. The peak was ascended completely by Conrad Kane, Albert McCarthy, and Bill Foster in 1913. Generations of hikers have stood here on the shore of Kinney Lake, marveling at the scene before them. We hope that you, too, enjoyed your walk to the lake. It's a grand place, worthy of our continued appreciation and respect. Like its awe-inspiring surroundings, Kinney Lake is protected for all time as part of this provincial park, in the shadow of Mount Robson. When we started our hike, the weather carried a heavy haze. Smoke from nearby wildfires had settled into the valley, softening the outlines of the mountains and dimming what would normally be crystal clear views. From late in the day through to the next afternoon, the air stayed smoky, casting a surreal atmosphere over the landscape. While it wasn't the clear star we had hoped for, it added a raw reminder of nature's power and unpredictability, and made the moments of clearing sky later on feel even more special.
Chào bác.
走吗？还要过你那边？
This challenging ascent, which involves climbing over 500 meters in about 5 kilometers, is the most difficult section of the Berg Lake Trail. After passing the one-person bridge, we finally reached the side trail to Emperor Falls. The sound of rushing water grew louder as we approached, and then suddenly we were standing at the base of one of the most powerful waterfalls we've ever seen. Dropping nearly 46 meters, Emperor Falls thunders down with a force that shakes the ground. The mist rises in clouds, soaking everything nearby, including us within seconds. Standing so close, gazing up at the torrent, we felt tiny against the raw power of nature. What makes this spot even more unforgettable is the backdrop. Directly behind the falls looms the sheer wall of Mount Robson. Watching the icy spray rise with the mountain towering above felt like standing in a cathedral carved by water and stone. Although it was smoky sky, we lingered there, taking in the scene from every angle, before reluctantly continuing our climb toward Berg Lake.
Hello，嗨。管用，吃了都很管用的。啊？叫啥药？那就是旅行那种不舒服啊。叫啥药啊？吃一块就吃一颗。
我们还往前走一个，再休息，再吃中午。
我走了，拜拜。哦，这是一个营地的吧？
是啊。
这个营地好，这个营地好好呀。
这景色好啊！
After the long climb through the Valley of Thousand Falls, past White Falls, Falls of the Pool, and the thunderous Emperor Falls, the trail finally leveled out. Our legs were tired, but our anticipation carried us forward. After passing Marmot Campground, we made the short hike up to the Hargreakes Lake Viewpoint. The trail climbed quickly through forest before opening up onto a ridge with sweeping views. Below us lay Hargreakes Lake, a turquoise pool fed by meltwater from the Hargreakes Glacier, while directly across the valley towered the immense north face of Mount Robson. The Hargreakes Trail provides expansive views of Berg Lake and the glaciers, as well as the teal gem of a lake at the base of Miss Glacier that is not visible otherwise. The combination of glaciers, lakes, and vertical rock walls was breathtaking, a layered panorama that showed off Mount Robson's scale in a way few other viewpoints could. It felt like standing in a natural amphitheater of ice and stone. On the morning of our last day, we set out for the Berg Lake Viewpoint. The trail first led us past the tumbling waters of Toboggan Falls, a beautiful cascade that added both sound and motion to the quiet forest around us. From there, we climbed steadily until the trees parted, revealing our first full view of Berg Lake, its turquoise waters dotted with icebergs and framed by the sheer north face of Mount Robson.
K5的上面是啊，咱们去 K5，K5不是山洞吗？就是水冲的那个洞啊，跟我们看那个。
But we didn't stop at the viewpoint. Pushing on a little farther, we reached the small cave and the giant boulder nearby. Both perfect spots to take in the scene from a different angle and capture some memorable photographs. From there, Berg Lake looked even more dramatic, with the glacier-fed waters and towering cliffs combining into a panorama we'll never forget. We started out from Robson Pass Campground with excitement and a little nervous energy. Today was our chance to hike the legendary Snowbird Pass route. The trail led us first along the Robson River, following markers that guided us toward the base of the massive Robson Glacier Lake. From there, the real climb began, a series of switchbacks that wound their way up the side of the Robson Glacier, steadily gaining elevation on loose, rocky terrain. The higher we climbed, the more the landscape opened up. Behind us, Mount Robson loomed in all its glory, its immense vertical face towering above Berg Lake like a stone cathedral. The Robson Glacier stretched out in shimmering waves of blue and white, crevassed and alive with subtle movement. Standing so close, we could hear it groan and crack in the afternoon sun, a reminder of the immense forces shaping this landscape. The ascent was demanding, but the reward was extraordinary. As we crested the ridge and reached Snowbird Pass, the view expanded into something almost otherworldly. The vast, rolling reef ice field, a sea of ice stretching to the horizon. It was breathtaking, wonderful, and truly stunning, a panorama that felt untouched and eternal.